Ambassador. Dave, obviously we're only going to be speaking to you with your first name for obvious reasons, but we appreciate you being here at what is clearly a very difficult time for the whole country. Tomorrow is 2 months since the Hamas terror attack, that onslaught in southern Israel. So if you will, share with us, take us back to the 7th of October, your memories, how it unfolded for you on that day.
So being in the reserve, with just being at home, like minding our own business, I was with my roommate, then we start seeing there's a barrage of missiles. Suddenly, the first time you realize how severe is the attack is when you see the images from Sderot and Ofakim. You see Hamas terrorists inside the cities, as well as the phone call from Be'eri. I think that was the most pivotal point where people realized how many forces of Hamas are inside of Israel. The phone call to Be'eri was very pivotal. I got a phone call at 8 p.m. to get to the base, and I got the very morning afterwards. Throughout the day, we're trying to understand what is going on, and also which forces are coming in, and what we should do, and how we should help. And then the very next day, arriving, you see most of the aftermath, and some of the images you can see in the background, just parking next to a completely destroyed car, or seeing on the way to the base, I counted like 20 cars that were just completely shot, windshields, and other images that we're not gonna get too graphic. And then as soon as you get through the gate of the base, that's when your mentality shifts. That's when you understand you're no longer a civilian, and you start shifting into the military gear.
So describe for us what that shift in mentality means for you.
So here, as a civilian, you're going about everything, and then just regular minding your own business. When you go into the army, you kind of turn off entirely all the mechanisms of feeling trauma or getting too sad. Like just from the images, parking, walking by the car, I started noticing there are grenades on the floor with duct tape, and it takes you a moment to realize why they're there. And then right after that, I just saw a body of one of the terrorists laying there, because the priority was first to get all of our deceased and remove them to proper burial. Then going through the gates, you see there are bullet holes on the mirrors or on the glass, and also there was a helicopter attack inside the base itself. So the first day getting there is complete chaos. Just you see trails of blood, you hear about stories of people who were fighting and all the stories. To this day, I think there are people that are piecing together what happened on that day. You see people saying on the way to base, they were just passing by. Suddenly someone is waving them down. He realized he's still holding a Kalashnikov and not M16. So he's realizing that's not our troops. And then he started getting shot, like through the windshield, on the side, and just collecting whoever you can. There was like a large WhatsApp group, just whoever is alive, come and help. And then just trying to understand where they're coming from and trying to get into the kibbutz themselves. It's important to say the reason that a lot of kibbutzes didn't get forces coming in is because they were surrounding them entirely. Like Be'eri, after the sunset, they were sitting on all positions with night vision, prepared, and just fighting till the morning.
There are so many questions about the intelligence failures on the 7th of October. Obviously, the investigations will unpack much of the detail down the line, and obviously there's a limit to what you can discuss in a public forum. Having said that, give us your sense of the scale of what you saw on that day. Give us a sense of the extent of the depravity and the brutality that unfolded on that day. It has shocked the most hardened of war veteran correspondents who saw on the scene what exactly it was that unfolded, the evil that was perpetrated against so many people at a music festival, in their homes as well, not to mention on the army bases. What is your sense?
So, like I said, you get there, you saw on the news on Saturday, like the number of casualties just rising and rising, but nothing prepares you to how it looks in the field. You get there, you see dozens of cars, like completely shot, torn into pieces, bodies everywhere. Some of them we were able to already start gathering, but obviously people who are, I was about to sit on the base, just like on the side. And so they told me, wait, there's a pool of blood there. Just everywhere. It took us 2 weeks to just gather all the remainings and find. And the extent was so severe that bodies were burned and just mutilated that we had archaeologists helping identify the deceased. Archaeologists that have been working in the kibbutz and also around them, 13 cases they have closed just because of what they did. So the extent is just searching for teeth. And also Asaf Hamami, that there was a funeral in his remembrance. So he also was shot, killed, and then taken to captivity. It was an entire investigation to understand where he is, to finalize all the questions, and all the families that they got answers only a while afterwards. It's due to the fact you want to be completely sure. And everything is a crime scene, and just in some kibbutzes there were 50 or 60 or 100 even terrorists just killed there. They didn't care whether you're Bedouin, whether you're Thai, they just shot at everyone.
It certainly is so difficult to process, even 2 months later, the extent of what unfolded, and more details are emerging. Again, we appreciate there are some things you can't discuss, but when you know the number of hostages who were abducted, taken, brutally attacked, and then taken across from Israel into Gaza. We know how many are back home, but right now there are 138 hostages who are being held inside the Gaza Strip, and fighting is intensifying as well at the same time. Talk to us in terms of the way fighting continues. There is a serious goal to eliminate a terror threat. At the same time, there are 138 hostages who are hidden somewhere where that fighting is unfolding. What does that look like to you?
So, of course, it seems, and the way they're trying to show the world, that we're just bombarding everything without distinguishing anything. But we're doing everything we can also to protect the civilians as well as our own hostages. So everything is done in a precise manner. And also, given the fact that the leverage that we have on Hamas, they have no laws that they abide by, no war just atrocities they're doing. So what we want to do is leverage as much as we can our presence and closing in on them in order to get more batches of hostages back. Because right now, what leverage do you have on their hostages to get them released? So we're trying to do it by getting there and applying force and presence, just closing in on them, and then getting more hostages out.